got money on this?
We could have.
I'm going to have fawn up there, smacking around. Only forward.
Stitch up. I reckon I've been stitched up by that cobbler. I've lost 3 cobblers.
Checkmate.
I told you should have hooked
You
him.
should have castled. That's like short. So we'll go back. What you should have done in that situation was castle.
What's a castle?
Right, okay.
What was that? What was that?
Castling.
What's castle?
Castling.
I'm a Newcastle gunner. You right? I'm a northern lad.
That's your move.
It was like teasing to me.
So can you just make the same way?
Check.
I'll just get you to polish your boots up a bit more.
So far, so good.
Check.
Mate, go on, right, check.
Just have a little bit of sort of spitting polish.
Sure.
You can't go there.
Can you lift the boot up quite high to you and just... Spit and polish.
Bit more spit and polish.
That's a no. Just block it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so that match up to the back. Lovely. Cheers.
Oh, he's been waiting. That's so cheeky.
Died now.
Why sent these mashes, you think? They've been around since 1492.
Right. About 5 minutes.
It's almost an awful, isn't
It is,
it?
yeah.
I mean, to keep it going here, there's definitely an answer. Particularly with these type of pipes, so nice looks at me.
Yeah, I should imagine. It's almost as though when you watch, so you don't see many pipes like this, do you? Really? When you see them, it is almost as though it's
Well, they usually have a
sort of like a
collection
way
of,
of life
they
for
usually
them.
have favourite pipes and things as well.
right.
Well, you thought it was a good idea. Well, no, you had to, you know, raise it diplomatically without saying, "Yeah, do you want to buy this, mate?" Got a print, fell off the back of a print shop, fiver to me. You get hundreds of these.
Cleaned out that print shop now, haven't you?
Pub, the one in Winchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a nice one of a floating battery. I've got one of when I left my last work, they gave me some money, so I went and had a collection. £3.50 and an old button, but went and got a couple of prints. One of the Waterloo ones where there's the cuirassy. I mean, different by what's his name, the guards from the ground, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That one, and also
Such a nice place.
one of a floating battery in in Thingy Harbour.
Illustrated London News.
Pardon?
Illustrated London News.
Yeah. And on the background you've got the hill
Mm-hmm.
with the forts on top.
Okay, then.
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, good.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dartmouth Old Battery. You have in front of you a Victorian gun dating from the 1890s. In the 1860s, a Royal Commission reported upon the defences of the United Kingdom, and they embarked upon a rearmament of all the major dockyards, including Portsmouth and Plymouth and Chatham. The lesser ports and the commercial harbours were fortified shortly afterwards. Dartmouth was also rearmed, and by the 1890s its main purpose was as a practice battery for training volunteers. It was fitted with 5 of these guns, 3 in the casemates beneath and 2 up on the upper battery here. They're 64-pounder rifled muzzle-loading guns, conversions from smoothbore guns which by the 1870s were obsolete. They were reused by boring them out and lining them with wrought iron rifled liners. They had a maximum range of 4,000 yards with a charge of 6.5 pounds of black powder. The Victorian crews that manned them were civilians from the local area. They were trained throughout the summer period of each year in the niceties of fixing fuses and making up cartridges. The crew would have been supplemented by 2 regular artillerymen who knew their job. They would be under command of their number 1. His detachment is lined to the rear of the gun. These volunteers have come all the way from Fortress Portsmouth to train on this gun today. They're going to go through a full Victorian gun drill for you, exactly as it would have happened in the 1880s, 1890s. Now the number 1, first of all, issues a command which tells off his crew, and you'll hear them shout out their gun numbers.
Squad! Squad! Jump! Till off! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5!
Note they shout their gun number out. This ensures that the number 1 knows that each of his crew
Prepare for action!
duties. As well as the crew members here on the gun floor, there would be other numbers, up to a detachment of 10 in other areas of the battery, down in the main magazines, bringing up cartridges, filling shells, fixing fuses. Ready-use ammunition would be stored in a nearby expense store. You can see the cartridge expense store to the right of the gun.
Examine! Go!
On the command examine gun, the piece is made ready. It's in its run-back position, as you can see. If you look very closely at the gun, you'll see it's in 3 parts. There's the traversing platform, which sits on iron rails known as racers. It's on these rails as it's traversed around. It's pointed at the target. This is known as laying it to line. On top of the traversing platform is the carriage. The carriage bears the barrel of the gun. The carriage is free to slide up and down the slope of the platform. The slope of the platform checks the recoil on firing.
Range 2,700 yards. Shrapnel, fuse 15. Load!
You'll note the number 1 reads the range from his coast range finding box to the right of the gun. The range would be given to him from a nearby depression rangefinder mounted on a pedestal to the rear of the battery. This would determine with great accuracy the range and bearing of the target. The dial indicates with the large white 2 that it's 2,000 yards. The black hand denotes hundreds. The red hand denotes deflection that will be corrected for due to wind. The circular black disc on the top denotes that the target is closing. If it was stationary, then the black circle would be centre. If it were going away, the black circle would be to the right. The gun has to be run forward to the firing position. It's run forward by engaging truck levers to the rear of the carriage. When the crew bear down on these, front struts are introduced and the whole thing rolls forward. The muzzle of the gun now protrudes through the embrasure in the parapet. And the number 1 mounts the platform for final adjustments to elevation of the piece. And he calls for the platform to be traversed accordingly. Sighting using fore and rear sights. He lines up in anticipation of where the target will be, having made allowance for the time of flight of the shell. It fired a studded shell, studs on the shell engaging in grooves in the barrel. The shell is rammed in after the cartridge. He now adjusts the final elevation of the piece and primes it. Prime the piece, the charge is pierced down to a hole in the top of the barrel. This is the vent. Into the vent is fixed a copper friction tube filled with light pistol powder. When the target presents at the right range and bearing, the lanyard will be hauled, the friction tube will ignite, setting off the main charge. You'll then hear an explosion, and following that, if you listen carefully, you can hear it echo round the harbour. We await the command to fire.
Fire! Sponge!
In the 1880s, an enemy ship was counter-defensively brought to bear on them by looking at the puffs of smoke rising from the ramparts of the fortification. It wasn't until the 1890s that they had perfected a propellant that didn't give away your position by producing the smoke. Also, if the wind was unfavourable, the smoke would blow back into your battery. A bit of a problem in the casemates below. Here in an open position, it was not so much of a problem.
Cease! Alright!
Now, if they fired a heavy projectile with a full charge, the carriage would recoil back up the slope of the platform. They would then sponge the piece, and they'd reload and run it back to the firing position and fire again. With 5 guns in use in this battery, they could fire one after the other and keep up a constant battering fire. Or they could fire all 5 at once in one salvo. It depended upon the target that presented itself. However, they have not fired a heavy projectile today, and they wouldn't have done so in a drill, perhaps, in the 1880s. And so the carriage has to be hauled back by hand.
Yeah.
Having stood the crew down to the rear, although that concludes the public performance, there's still more to be done. So at this stage in the drill, we would invite you to come into the battery. There's plenty more to see down below in the casemates. There's a barrack room displayed. We'll take tours of the magazines displaying the niceties of how ammunition was stored. But we would invite any able-bodied members of the public who want to take part in living history to come over in a moment and help us haul the gun back. Tackles will be attached to either side. We're not discriminatory here in this crew, so we do invite the ladies to lend a hand as well. Plenty of ladies volunteered to pull this gun back to show the men how it's to be done. So please come forward and volunteer, take part in living history. I hope you've enjoyed that. We'll be firing again on the hour for the next 4 hours. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Right turn. This. Squad. Yep. Till off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just bugger those up.
So we're just doing the first part. Yeah.
Squad. And the number.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Squad. Yep. Till off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We'll do that one more time.
Stand at 8.
Okay.
Squad. Yep. Till off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so just one more time.
Just show me just the numbers. numbers?
Just numbers.
Okay.
Right, recording.
Till off! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.